So I mentioned it in my last video, but we are sheet mulching our front yard. We've got about 800 square feet of yard here, maybe up to 1,000 if you count the garden that I already have established. This garden right now is a low water garden. That hose there is going over to some more sensitive things over along the fence. Hardy kiwi and tomatoes being two of them. So this garden's already here, but I'm going to sheet mulch the rest of the yard. As you can see, it's not pretty. It's all grass. I reseeded the grass thinking, you know, maybe if I do like a water hardy grass or clover, so I did kind of a mix, that it wouldn't waste so much water. But it turns out, yeah, it's dead and weedy. I watered it in the spring, but then I kept watering it and I kept thinking, why am I wasting this water? I live in a high desert. This is dumb. And then COVID happened and we all got sent home and sent to our rooms, which is fantastic because that's given me a lot of time, opportunity, and will to deal with this. So we're sheet mulching the whole front yard is step one. Step two is going to be planting out shrubby perennials that the city's going to provide for us in this section. The city has a program where if you take out 200 square feet of lawn, they'll provide you with the plants to fill it in that are perennials and low water, so and local. So that's awesome. I'll have a little native plant garden there. Over here is more sunny. So here is where I'm going to trellis some grapevines. I'm propagating grapevines now, so there'll be a video about that in the future, which I'll link to once it's up. So lots of sun there. So grapevines, trees, fruit trees, and some willows, shrubs, and other companion plants to go with it. At the moment I have, and I'm not sure if it's going to survive, we'll see. I have some hardy kiwi here, which is vining, so I expect that to vine up there next year, hopefully. Hardy kiwi's kind of, it's Siberian, I think. So it's supposed to be cold hardy. It certainly, I was told to plant it in the sun, but it's crispy. Because our sun is so hot and I water this so much. So I'm gonna shade these and I'll do a video about that in a bit. That tomato is a propagate that I cut off of a bigger plant. If it produces, then great, and if not, then it'll still shade the kiwis. All right, so sheet mulching. I decided to do sheet mulching instead of till up all this grass for a few reasons. Number one, this is a lot less labor intensive than going through this and tilling it over and over and over again, especially because this tree here has some pretty shallow roots going through the yard, which would give a tiller a really hard time. Tilling also disrupts the microbiota of the soil and the synergy that the soil has already built with between bugs and fungi and microfungi and bacteria and all that fun stuff that we need for healthy soil. So the soil under here is clay. It's shit to grow in, but it's got its own symbiosis. So I would like this to be a gentle conversion. It's like switching from eating McDonald's 3 times a day to eating organic vegetables. It's painful in the beginning. It's a lot of work in the beginning. But in the end, your body is going to be much happier when you make that change. And it's the same with the soil. The soil is much happier and healthier in the long run if you can start a garden like this. Now you can see I have wood chips here and some random plants that I chop and dropped. These are mostly sunflowers. And these wood chips were delivered from Chip Drop. They have a lot of leaves in them. And we want the leaves and we want the wood. So it's a nice nitrogen carbon balance so it doesn't get too stinky. You don't have to use wood chips though. I like wood chips because they're super abundant and they're free. I can get them from Chip Drop, chipdrop.com. I give them the $20 for the delivery because with COVID, a lot more people are wanting wood chips, so there's a lot more competition for wood chips. So I do give them the $20 delivery fee. And then I get a bunch of wood chips. That's about 3/4 of what we got. This is the rest of it, and it's about 4 inches deep. So you don't have to use wood chips if you don't want to. We also use our rabbit litter. Straw, leaves, and paper. Rabbit poop and pee. Just dump it on there. Boop. Rabbits do not produce hot manure, so you can use them in the garden immediately. Super high and nutrient rich. Plants love it. The paper breaks down really quickly, which is nice too. So we recycled the paper. We reused the paper by making it into buddy litter. And now we're using it in the garden to build some awesome soil. The little punny poop pellets, if I can just get them separately, I'll just put them around plants. But our buddy's litter trained because I don't like little bunny poop pellets all over the place. And he's an indoor bunny, so this works. So we do this, or we can do wood chips. Or we can do compost. Any organic matter that will degrade itself over winter. So the wood chips last a little longer than winter. They, in Colorado where I live, it takes, because it's not wet, it takes about, it depends on how finely they're chipped. So these are chipped pretty finely. And you can see they've already been starting to compost themselves and turning into soil. So I've had these a month. I'm guessing this will break down into soil quicker than some of my other stuff with bigger wood chips. So I know for a fact, stuff like this, it's about half leaf, half wood chip, and about inch-sized wood chips. This takes about 2 to 3 years to break down depending on moisture level. This will take about a year, year and a half. The rabbit stuff will be gone within a few weeks. So basically, you're just loading this up with a bunch of organic material and letting it sit. I'm doing this at the beginning of monsoon season, so I'm hoping the monsoons rain around here. Get this wet so it can compost itself. But if it doesn't, then I will have to water this in the spring, which would be sad. But my idea, and you'll follow me along as we do this, and if you want to follow me along through this progression, make sure you hit subscribe. But you'll see the progression over the years. I'm going to do this. In the spring, I'm going to put down compost. I'm going to plant plants. And you'll get to see how this front yard in Colorado is not super pretty because I refuse to water it daily. Full of dry clay soil. This is some soil I turned up from here. It's just, it's rough. And nourish that soil into something fertile, something that'll grow and be happy and healthy and provide us with food and medicine for years to come. So tell me about your sheet mulching journey, and any questions you might have. I know there are a lot of questions about wood chips, pros and cons, and I will do some videos on that later. But for now, here's my quick, simple sheep mulching progress as of August 5th, I think. It's the 5th. All right, we'll see you on the other side. Happy gardening. One of the other reasons that we don't want to till is because when you till up bindweed, it reproduces itself by root cuttings. And you get these teeny tiny root cuttings, and then you have a bindweed infestation, and it's insane. And bindweed never goes away, and then you have to haul it out for the rest of your life, and it's really a pain in the butt. So that's another reason why you don't till. The reason we're using boxes as our first base layer is because boxes biodegrade pretty easily, especially when you take off all the cardboard tape, all the plastic tape. So that plastic tape, take off the plastic stickers that you can. You can see that mine don't have all of the plastic stickers off, but I got as much as I could off. And so that's going to decompose. The worms are going to come through it and into the wood chips. The worms, the microbiota, and the fungi, they're going to work their way through the cardboard. It's going to hold water, and then attract those beneficial insects to come up through the cardboard into the wood chips and start breaking down the soil, so that when we put plants in there, they'll be able to form good symbiotic relationships. And then we can plant directly into the soil. That cardboard's going to degrade in months. It doesn't take too long for cardboard to degrade. So we use cardboard to block weeds from coming up, grass from coming up. It kills those, it smothers them. Then we put the compost and the wood chips and the bunny poop and whatever else we can get on top of it to decompose.